Okay, so my theory is that it's the Borg. There was something genetically passed down to Jack Crusher, and now the Borg Queen is calling him.
Okay. I don't believe your theory. Let's talk about your Alan's theory.
Welcome to Nerdiest Prime, where we are reviewing every episode of Star Trek Picard Season 3. We are doing Episode 9. This is a shit show episode, and let's start with Namir.
What does that mean?
That means that it is, that I love it and I hate it so much at the same time. It is the most ridiculous episode of Star Trek I've ever
Everybody
seen.
just turned.
It's more ridiculous.
Everybody just turned this review off because you just shat all over it right out of the gate. So mean.
I think
Stay tuned, folks. I have nice things to say.
I think Lucas should just start because he's already started. I want to hear about this.
Yes, let's have Lucas start for a change.
It's more ridiculous than Move Along Home. More ridiculous than Threshold.
Which I loved.
So, and I kind of love this episode too, but it was completely like I don't even know where to begin.
Okay, I think you're just upset. I think you're upset because I'm probably the only one in the entire internet that called the Borg in episode 2, and you were like, "No way! No, there's no possible way it could be the Borg." And I was like, "I think it's gonna be the Borg." And you're like, "Nah, you're stupid."
Just to clarify, I didn't think that you were wrong. What I was thinking was, I hope this is not what they do because they've done it. They've already done the Borg to death. It's done. The thing is, okay, this is the thing. The thing is, I'm totally okay with going along with like this whole Borg plan, conspiracy, whatever, to like take over all the cadets and all this sort of stuff. But it's the explanation of all this stuff that's ridiculous.
But I thought that was actually pretty clever and cool.
But it's all ridiculous. Like, what's your benchmark here, right? Like, why is this the thing that's ridiculous, and the rest of it is okay?
No, this is when you say the rest of it, you mean all of Star Trek?
All of Picard.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Picard is this. All this is actually really good. It actually makes sense compared to seasons 1 and 2.
Exactly. So what's the problem here? What's your problem, Lucas?
Yeah, what's your problem?
I don't like it. I don't like. Okay, you guys talk about what you think. Stop picking on me. Tell me what you think.
As an aside, I drew up a fun list about all the things that Jack was not, that people like to say on the internet. I said, things Jack was not. Picard clone, Romulan, Changeling, Red Jack from the original series, parasites, Armus, a lore-controlled android, or some other Soong, a Pa Wraith, a Dominion bioweapon, V'ger, the aliens from Schisms. He was not part of the ancient Doc Ock arms from season 1. I didn't know what to call them. He was not from Section 31. Oh, and I also wrote, as I nobody said this, but I thought it was funny, he was not Paris and Janeway's salamander babies.
That would have been the best. It's like somebody went at the beginning and they watched all of Star Trek and they made of Next Generation and they made a list of all the things that they liked, and then they put all those things on a piece of paper and they cut up all the little pieces of paper, put them in a blender, and then hit blend on the blender.
How are they going to read those pieces of paper now?
And that's crazy. They're just making paper mache, and they built a giant mountain out of it where the aliens were going to come.
And so I just wonder, like, so it's obvious that that's what this whole season is, which on one hand I love. And on the other, but then it gets to the level of they feel they need to explain everything. Everything needs to be explained. And as they're explaining things, on one hand, I don't know if it's a thing that they're like, look how clever I am. I'm explaining this whole thing for you. And it's a little bit of a circle jerk. Or is it like they're making fun of us? They're just like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do like the DNA in the transporter. And that's how the Borg have assimilated everybody through their DNA. And the Trekkies are going to eat it up. They're just going to eat up whatever.
And I did. So, yeah, mission accomplished. Good job, team.
I realized what my problem is with all this stuff is that everything we're watching is completely made up, right? All Star Trek is completely made up. It never happened. And the whole conceit is that I'm supposed to believe that it's real on some level, that I buy into it. So you can't see the hand of the writer. It has to always feel organic. And when it gets very convoluted and very explaining, that's when I see the hand of the writer. Suddenly I'm not believing the situation. I'm just saying, oh, this is telling Metalis or whatever. The people had to come up with a reason how they were going to do something, and this is what they came up with. It doesn't feel like an organic, like. So that's my complaint. That's my only complaint.
All of Star Trek is usually, they build it around personal stakes. So all these other things that people are coming up with, like the parasites or the schism aliens or whatever, like there's no Armis, there's no personal stakes with Picard. Like these ideas made no sense. Where he has to reconcile is his trauma in the past with the Borg. That's what I said. It's either got to be like the Borg or Sela or Lore. It has to be somebody from the past who has a personal connection, personal beef, conflict with the characters. It can't just be some willy-nilly thing that that happened in Star Trek, It
was interesting. I noticed that all the cadets, all the people under 25 are the ones that are assimilated, and then all the old people are fine. And I kind of wondered if there was like a baby boomer metaphor for how they feel right now. If that's kind of like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it was a way to make them relevant, right? I think it was a way to say, well, the only way that this is going to be solved is by people over 65. Right? Which is like secretly their dream anyway, right? Like everybody under 65 is irrelevant, and here's the proof. Right? But
they're the greatest generation.
They're the greatest generation. Exactly. They're great at screwing it up for everybody else.
And the kids say, "Well, we're better and stronger and faster than you, so we're gonna kill you and take over."
Oh, my back! Oh God!
Okay, so I guess there's not going to be a reboot with Captain Shaw, is my thinking at this point.
Yeah, that was the only thing that I was not a big fan of, and it was really contrived because they had to do that just so that they wouldn't be on the Enterprise D, and they could have that moment with just the original crew, because Shaw dies and 7 of 9 is like, "I'll stay with you," and Raffi's like, "I guess I'll stay as well." And then everybody else is like, "See ya," and they go to the Enterprise D.
I guess I didn't even realize they didn't go with them. I thought they did go with them, but
no, they
were just
stayed.
in
That's
the back.
why they're not on the ship. They just stayed on the Titan.
I mean, it's Star Trek. Is anyone ever truly dead? He could have a twin brother, a clone, Force ghost. I don't know.
He's gonna come back in a brand new 7 of 9 series, and he's gonna be married to Ensign Ro.
Well, that's what people are saying too. Is like, couldn't she just put her Borg nanoprobes and reanimate him like she did for Neelix and Voyager? I'm like, maybe, because she should be able to put nanoprobes in, repair all the tissue damage from the phaser, and he'd be back to.
She just doesn't like him that much.
Yeah.
She's not gonna.
But he showed her respect in the end. Give her chosen name. So then she's like, oh.
Right, but it was too late to inject him with the nanobots at that point. She's like, "Ooh, I should have done
really?"
that."
Because Neelix was dead for like 12 hours or something in Voyager, and she reanimated him.
I never.
Oh my god!
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's hard to have these discussions with you because you don't know the canon.
Yeah, I totally. So frustrating for me when Lucas doesn't know what he's talking about. It's like, Jesus, are you a real fan or not?
You guys are both assholes. The final scene, you guys both called it, is they go to the space dock, to the space museum. They go into Area 51 or whatever it's called, and there is
Hangar 12.
Hangar 12. It's literally got a giant 12 on it.
I mentioned several times.
I don't remember.
Do you watch this, or do you just sit there and groan? Stop destroying my childhood.
I wasn't a baby when I watched Star Trek: The Next Generation. Okay?
I mean, you basically were.
You're just a big baby now.
You were a baby. I think the only I laughed so hard when they showed the Enterprise because it was almost like a joke when we were talking about it. That they're going to bring back the Enterprise D. It's going to be the Enterprise D, and it was so outrageous an idea that for them to go that far, like they're just really getting almost a parody level. Like basically, what they want us to believe is that Geordi LaForge is like a dad with a Chevy in his driveway. And can, like, it's like a huge spaceship that's like over half a kilometer long, and he's just like by himself, just like
he's got his paint roller and his wrench. Like,
he's going to Canadian Tire to find parts. He's like, these wipers don't fit. Damn it!
It did.
And wait till they get down to like. They get down to engineering, and Data's going to be like, "Is this all duct tape? Is this all duct tape?"
Well, I think they've already really said what's going to save everything is it's Jack's humanity, his capacity for love and compassion and all that is going to overcome. Yes. I feel like that human spirit is that's been bred into him through having Beverly crushed her as a mom all these years is what's going to ultimately win over the Borg influence.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, well, I do and I don't. I think what's going to happen is they're going to take the D to the Borg cube, and then they're on a rescue mission, right? Like they're going to head to the cube and try and save Jack, and Picard is going to confront, the Borg Queen, and Picard again for the 9th time, and
her skull, her snapper, the snapper spine.
Yeah, like I wonder if they're going to de-age Alice Krieg.
I mean, I think most of her makeup was latex anyway.
Yeah, maybe.
Just put a latex mask on her.
Yeah, like an Alex Krieg mask.
I didn't even realize that it was her. I mean, I recognized her voice, but then they never showed her face.
And Majel Barrett's voice for the computer on the D was great too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, that was good. I was like, oh, how many archives they had to go through to find the right things. They have enough Majel Barrett saying stuff that they have to just.
They
find.
just get the AI to do it.
Yeah, exactly. But my last thing is I think Picard's gonna die. Like he's gonna give his life up for Jack, or something, and then take out the Borg. And once the Borg die, then everyone's gonna get back to normal.
They're gonna get to the Borg, and behind the Borg are gonna be the parasites, and then
again with the parasites,
and then. And then Wesley Crusher is going to show up with the wormhole prophets, and they're just going to wave their magic wand and make it all go away. And then everybody's going to have a big a big hug.
Okay, does anybody have a realistic prediction?
What am I going to give it? I think I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8. I liked it. I'm glad that they finally started wrapping things up a little bit.
Well, going with our usual arrangement where Namir's always one less than me, I'm going to give it a 9. And I was actually going to give it a 9 going into this. It's not because you just said 8. Because I had a super great time watching this. The humor landed for me. The character moments landed for me. I like the plot, the bad guys' plot to destroy the Federation. Like, it feels like a real credible threat finally. It doesn't seem like, they don't feel toothless and wimpy like Voyager made the Borg into. Yeah, so I liked everything. I've been enjoying Jack Crusher. I was a little worried that they were going to spend too much time with Jack Crusher when in my heart I just wanted to see the TNG crew do their thing. And I was super happy to see the D back in action. Can't wait to see them next, whatever it's going to do next week. I think they're going to actually take on the Titan in a kind of versus the LaForge girls versus the TNG crew. We'll see. But I think that's the D is going to take on the Titan in the final episode, not the Borg cube.
So I was going to start with an 8 with this episode, but then there was that Data joke.
Data, could you try being a little more positive? I hope we die quickly. So
that made it a 9. And then they showed me the Enterprise D, and that made it a 10. But then the whole premise is so stupid, it had to go down to a 9. So I'll give it a 9.
What? I am shocked. I thought for sure you were so hard on this. Was this all misdirection the whole time? Were you pulling a Picard?
The thing that I didn't like about it, I was genuinely irritated about. But overall, like I said, you got those two things, and I just don't need an explanation. But I had a good time.
No, well, that's what I said when they got on the bridge of the Enterprise. Like, my adult logical things, like, oh, this is so fan servicey. I'm like, they don't need to do this, but it's like, this is my childhood. When people they watch Transformers or whatever, whatever in the 90s or 80s, float your boat. It was TNG for me, and it's like, this is my childhood, and I'm so happy. So, I'm like, Star Trek was everything to me back then. So, and those characters and that bridge set, and I was like, that ship, and it made me very happy.
Yeah, and I like that they could have done the thing where they made that the last shot of the season, right? Like, they get on the Enterprise, and Picard is like, engage, and then they just shoot off, to another star or whatever. But we have another episode. Where they spend time on the Enterprise D. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
They have one more chance to ruin everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I really thought they were gonna roll up to that hangar door and then roll the credits. I'm like, just show us what's in the hangar. But then there was still like 5 or 10 more minutes. I'm like, yes. None of these stupid cliffhanger fake outs. Like, just do the thing.